Welcome to our advanced flight tutorial. My name is Tim, my username is Nuzon, and I'm the crew leader of the GDA flight crew. Now, you might be thinking, wasn't Tim and his GDA flight crew all about realistic simulator flying? Why the heck is he taking a hot shower right now? Well guys, because in this advanced flight tutorial we will embark on our most advanced and technical flight yet. So I needed to sleep for the night and fresh up at my pilot's lodge here in Grapeseed, naturally. I like this roleplay. So, hi guys. Now in this video we will make our return journey from McKenzie airfield to Los Santos International Airport and perform a touch and go landing on Sandy Shores Airfield 2. Let's go to our garage. And I will show you how to enter and leave traffic patterns, fly in a holding zone, fly on high altitude to freely cross airspaces, demonstrate related ATC protocol, and even announce a missed approach and perform a typical go-around procedure in case that you need to abort your landing for whatever safety reason. We will eventually then arrive at Los Santos International Airport as our final destination. And by the way, as part of our crew, you're not required to do any of these advanced technical flights if you feel uncomfortable doing so. Right, let's get going to McKenzie. As a crew member, you're always free to roam the skies of Los Santos however you like, as long as you respect the flights of other crew pilots, so just saying. Personally though, I have to say that these more advanced flights are great fun to do with a good friend, as either your co-pilot passenger or when flying information or sitting next to you in real life. You could fly the airplane while your co-pilot friend is responsible for any related ATC and navigation, for example. Now, and completing those kinds of flights as a team really makes multiplayer flying in GTA very exciting and as real as it gets. Okay, McKenzie coming up. So anyway, I hope that this advanced flight tutorial will help you to further develop your flying skills even more. So, welcome to McKenzie Airfield, guys. Let's walk up to the hangar, to our trusty Vellum. Ah, there she is. Beauty. Okay. Now, just like before, in front of me in real life here, I have a printed version of our crew's airplane checklist. As you can see here. And with on its backside a smaller version of our airspace chart. Now, if you look closely, you can see that I've used a whiteboard marker to plot down our flight plan that I will discuss once we start with our pre-flight checks, which is quite handy because this is all in plastic. So once I've completed my flight, I can just wipe it off clean and reuse it for my next flight, just as a memory aid to know where I need to fly to. And especially today we're going to do that advanced flight, so this is quite handy. A tip for you. Okay. Now, as always, I will use this checklist as my handy companion to guide me through this particular cross-country flight. Now, if you don't own our airplane checklist already, consider downloading it for free at our gtaflightcrew.com website and right now, so you can follow me along during this tutorial when I refer to certain waypoints, airspaces or traffic patterns during our flight. So, if you're ready, then let's start with our pre-flight checks then. First up, device flight plan. So, get your airspace chart in front of you and follow me along when we do this flight plan rehearsal, which is always a good preparation no matter how straightforward your flight might seem. Now, today's is going to be a biggie. So, as you can see, we're at McKenzie Airfield and we will depart from runway 06 to Lighthouse. And it's important to note, if you look carefully at our departure route, that we need to avoid colliding with those terrain obstacles that are directly located on our departure route, as indicated on the chart. So to be safe when we take off, we need to maintain an increased climb rate, just to be safe. Now, once we reach Lighthouse, we make a right turn to the south and go to Catfish, making another right turn to the west to Sandy, and at that point we will enter the traffic pattern for landing on runway 08 left of Sandy Shores Airfield. Now, this means that we need to closely follow Sandy Shore's traffic pattern as indicated on the chart. The squared black lines with the arrows indicating the direction of preferred traffic flow. Now, at that point, we will simulate that runway 08 left is blocked by some other imaginary crew pilot who has temporarily positioned his or her Titan airplane right on the middle of the runway, preventing us from making a safe landing. Now, and as such, we are forced to announce a missed approach and perform a go-around procedure and leave Sandy Shore's airspace for a while, enter Sandy Shore's holding zone on the east side of the island, the yellow highlighted area over there, just to give our imaginary fellow pilots some time to get off the runway. Now, after a 180-degree turn in that holding zone, we will head back to Sandy via Labs and Catfish to do a second attempt for a touch-and-go landing on runway 08 left, just as before. And fortunately, this time around, our runway will be clear for a touch-and-go landing. Now, we're not there yet. I told you that this was going to be an advanced technical flight, so after we touch and go at Sandy Shore's airfield, we will make a turn to the left and go to Sandy and head further east to waypoint Cassidy. And then to Bridge to have a nice peek down on Cassidy River, which is one of my favorite areas on the island. We'll then turn south to Lago, Chumash, Perro, and finally get to our final approach on runway 12 left at Los Santos International Airport. So a very cool advanced flight with lots of nice and challenging flight procedures and ATC communications. So I think that's awesome. So that completes the device flight plan item on our pre-flight checklist. So let's continue. Verified current weather conditions are safe for flying. Well, let's have a look. The weather is great. Great for flying. So check. Verified your airplane's exterior is safe and cleared for flying. So, as before, we circle around the airplane and have a look at the fuselage, the wings, the wheels, just to see if we can find any aircraft damage that might affect our aerodynamics during flight. Distance view at the back of the airplane to have a more general view on the plane. Looks fine too. The tail looks great. Right wing looks fine too. Engine looks awesome as always. So it seems that our Velum is in great shape. Awesome. Okay, ensure that parachutes are on board. They are. Enter cockpit, get seated comfortably, and verify that engine is started. Okay guys, here we go. Let's get in. Okay, engine is started. Awesome. Ensured headset is on, connected, and mic is muted. Check. Tuned radio to everyone frequency. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. Check. Verified ailerons, elevator, and rudder are working. So our left wing. Fine. Right wing. 2. Elevators are working. And rudder is working too. Check. Okay. And verified big lights are working. Now take a look at the ground. And very dimly I can see my lights turn on and off again. So they are working too. Well, awesome. So that means that we have completed our pre-flight checks and are ready for taxiing to the runway and depart. McKenzie Tower, Willem Snoezen at Hangar 1, taxiing to runway 06 for departure. Okay, now at this particular airfield now, we need to very carefully go onto the runway just to have a look if there are no arriving or departing airplanes. Now obviously we can use the map, our extended map, and in this case we're in a closed crew session, so there at this point there are no other pilots around, so we know it's safe during our entire flight. But just to make sure and demonstrate this procedure, it's good to always look around and be sure that you're not creating a potential in-air collision or on-the-ground problem. So slowly out of the hangar. Control turns, not taxiing too fast. Now let's see. Test brakes. So braking. Fine. Let's go to the beginning of the runway. Stay a little bit on the left. Awesome. Sharp turn. Turn. Make sure that our wing doesn't hit anything here. Align ourselves with the center line of the runway. And as you can see already in the distance, right in front of us, there are some silos, but also an antenna. You see, right in front of our departure route. So that's the obstacle that we need to avoid. So that's why we need an increased climb rate. All right then. Well, it's clear for takeoff. There are no departing pilots here. Just to make sure, again, take a look around. No arriving airplanes. So let's get going right away. McKenzie Tower Velum snooze on holding short at runway 06, taking off for departure to Lighthouse. Okay, lights on. And here we go. Exciting. Looking forward to this flight. Top speed, gently into the air. Gear up. Here we go. Steeper climb this time. There are the other obstacles, but it seems that we are doing just fine. Awesome. Little turn to the right to Lighthouse. Cool. McKenzie Tower Velum snooze on leaving the airspace. Okay, lights off. Every time we leave an airspace, we do our lights off. Cruise altitude, cruise speed, and we're now at Lighthouse, so make a gentle right turn. We're going to Catfish. Awesome. At Catfish, we're going to make a right turn to Sandy again. Right about now. A little bit more throttle just to climb a bit to avoid colliding into this mountain ridge. Right, off to Sandy. Okay. Sandy Shores Tower Velum snooze on near Sandy, entering the airspace to land on runway 08 left. Lights on, because we're now entering the airspace with an intention to land. So every time you do this, you put your lights on, which is something that you don't need to do when you are crossing an airspace, because then there's no intention to land, right? So if you're crossing an airspace, you can just leave your lights off as they are, while when you're entering an airspace for landing, you put them on. Also good practice now is we're now in the traffic pattern of runway 08 left, and Sandy Airfield is on our left side. And you can see that we are flying parallel to our landing runway, which is a good thing. This is called a downwind lag. And then when we're at Stab, in front of us, we make a 90-degree turn to the left. That's called base lag. And then we make another 90-degree turn for final. So it's a good thing once you turn, just before you turn to base, that you give yourself enough room for final, because now we're creating... we're doing ourselves a favor, just waiting a little bit longer. Now turn to the left, 90-degree turn. Gear down. Now I'm looking and turning at the same time, which is really something that you should practice, because it's very handy to just time your turns, especially when you go from base to final. Here we are. Awesome. Sandy Shores Tower Velum snooze on final approach for touch and go landing on runway 08 left. So here we are on final approach, and now we're going to simulate that some other Titan airplane has been parked on the runway. And we need to announce a missed approach. Sandy Shores Tower Velum snooze on missed approach going around. Now we give full throttle, stay on altitude, keep our gear down until we feel that we have stabilized our flight. Now gear up. Inspect the runway, inspect the situation. In this case we kind of see that the pilot needs some more time. And then after the runway we just make a regular takeoff, as if we would make a regular departure. We take off, and now we leave the airspace. This time you can also just enter the traffic pattern and make another attempt, but this time I'm going to demonstrate going to the holding zone. So we can make a slight turn to the right to avoid flying over the restricted area of human labs over the left side. Sandy Shore Star of Willem snooze on leaving the airspace. Turn our lights off again. Now the holding zone is really something like a safe zone. It doesn't require to fly in any traffic pattern. It's just an area outside of the island that you can use just to hold and create some time when airspaces are crowded. So that's what we're going to do right now. Just flying to the ocean and make a 180-degree turn, and then we're going to do a second attempt. And we're going to fly to labs, catfish, and then to Sandy again and do this whole procedure all over again, but this time, fortunately, we are cleared to land. So here we are, heading to labs, staying on altitude, cruise speed. Ah, beautiful. I love these technical flights. I mean, wow. Great weather. The GDA 5 world looks just gorgeous. Awesome. Okay, that's labs. Soon we reach catfish. And we will make a turn for Sandy again. Here we are. Just as before. Awesome. It's the airfield on the right. Sandy Shore Tower of Elm, snoozle near Sandy, entering the airspace to land on runway 08 left. Lights on. Again, checking to see whether we're flying on downwind, parallel to our landing runway, which we are. Okay, we can already see Stab in the distance. It's kind of like our cue to turn to base. Also, we can use this road that you can see here that makes a left turn. This is using visual cues to guide you through your flight plan, which is quite handy. Okay, here we are, making a left turn to base. Awesome. Gear down, looking and turning at the same time. When you put your gear down, at least for the Velum, you also decrease your airspeed, which makes turning and moving and correcting much easier. And here we are. Sandy Shore Tower of Velum snoozing on final approach for touch and go landing on runway 08 left. Some turbulence here. Gently flare, touch down. Now for a touch and go landing, we now give full throttle again until we're at top speed, and then we just depart as usual. So top speed, gently gear up. Sandy Shore Tower. Awesome. Now we're climbing, and we make a turn to the left in a few moments to Sandy, and then we leave this area. Awesome. So there's Sandy. Continue climbing, because if we're high enough, we can just cross the McKenzie airfield airspace without doing any announcements, which is not a big deal, but handy. Sandy Shore Tower of Velum snooze on leaving the airspace. Lights off. There we are. Cassidy in front of us. Cassidy River. A little bit more high up. That's McKenzie. Okay, cruise altitude, cruise speed. Oh, I love Cassidy River. Great for hiking, parachuting, driving, biking, whatever you like to do, that's the place to be, at least in my opinion. Let's have a peek down. Look at that. Awesome. Bridge coming up. Okay. So we're at bridge now. Let's go to left to Lago. Another restricted area, unfortunately. I mean, I would love to make touch-and-go landings on Fort Zancudo. I mean, it's a lovely airport. I mean, I'm hoping that Rockstar is gonna change that in a future update. I mean, look at this. Would be great to fly to Zancudo. Not get an immediate police pursuit and people shooting you down. Alright, Chumash is next up. It's getting a little bit more foggy. The sun is setting on the right side, look. Beautiful. Reflections on the ocean. Oh, I love to fly in GTA. Oh, great. Great stuff. Yeah, it's getting foggy, guys. Interesting. I can already see Perro over there. Then we're gonna enter Los Santos airspace again. Okay, so when we make our right turn in a few moments, we're immediately on a base lag, so we can immediately start our landing. Los Santos Tower Velum snoozing near Perro, entering the airspace to land on runway 12 left. Lights on. Let's make a right turn. So, keeping our landing runway in sight. And a sneak. Wow. Beautiful. Gear down. Looking and turning at the same time. Go. Gentle turn. Keeping on altitude. Awesome. Los Santos Tower Velum snoozing on final approach for full stop landing on runway 12 left. Turbulence here. Small corrections, and just allow the airplane to do the work for you. Awesome. Here we are at Los Santos International Airport. Well, let's leave the runway right away. And with leaving, I mean the entire plane, not just your own seat, but the entire plane needs to be behind that threshold line in order for us to announce that we have left the runway. Los Santos Tower, volume snooze on left runway, taxiing to hangar 1 for parking. And lights can be turned off. Okay, let's go. Gentle turns, smooth and easy taxiing. There's the hangar. Here we are back home. Right, okay, let's get our checklist with us. So turn off big lights that we did, park airplane, leave cockpit and verify engine is shut down. Seems easy to me. Well guys, here we are. Great. So, I hope you enjoyed this advanced flight tutorial and learned more about our flight regulations, our flight procedures, our ATC protocol. And as always, if you like this kind of realistic simulator flying in GTA 5, then please visit us at gdaflightcrew.com and join our crew to fly with us online. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and perhaps you can help us to expand on this shared flying experience in the world of GTA 5. So, thanks again for watching. And hopefully I will see you again at one of our next flight videos. Guys, bye.